Is this the life you imagined? The one you meticulously planned? The one you fought for? The one you believed was your destiny? Or is it a pale imitation, a compromise, a life lived in the shadows of what could have been? Let me ask you something. When you look in the mirror, do you see a warrior or a spectator? Do you see the architect of your own fortune? Or do you see a passenger on a bus driven by someone else? We live in an age of unprecedented access, where information is a commodity and opportunity is a birthright. Yet, paradoxically, we are more paralyzed than ever. We've traded the rugged, unpaved road of ambition for the smooth, predictable highway of mediocrity. We've been sold a lie, a comfortable deception that tells us the rules are fixed, the game is rigged, and our dreams are nothing more than a childish fantasy. But what if I told you that the rules are not written in stone, that the game is a mere illusion, and that your dreams are not a fantasy but a blueprint? What if I told you that the only thing standing between you and a life without limits is the fortified wall you have built around your own mind? Think about it. We are bombarded with messages that tell us to play it safe, to lower our expectations, to conform to the established order. We are taught to trade the fire in our belly for the lukewarm comfort of a predictable paycheck. We are conditioned to believe that our potential has a ceiling, a glass barrier that can never be broken. This is the great modern tragedy. We have inherited the tools of giants, the internet, global communication, instant access to knowledge, and we are using them to build cages for ourselves. Consider the titans of history. Men like Andrew Carnegie, a poor Scottish immigrant who became the king of steel. Did he play it safe? Did he accept the limitations of his birth? No. He saw a world being built and decided he would not only participate in its construction, but he would forge the very steel that held it all together. Or look at Thomas Edison, a man who failed thousands of times. Did he see failure as a final verdict? Did he throw in the towel and declare his quest for a practical light bulb a fool's errand? Of course not. He saw each failure as a step closer to success, a new piece of data in his grand experiment. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10 zero ways that won't work." His mind was not a prison. It was a laboratory. It was a boundless universe of possibility. This is the fundamental difference between those who merely exist and those who truly live. It is a difference not of talent, but of mindset. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. It is the engine of your reality, the architect of your future. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, every doubt you permit to fester is a brick in the wall you build around yourself. When you believe you are limited, you become limited. When you believe you are unworthy, you become unworthy. When you believe you cannot, you do not. The first step, the foundational step to a life without limits, is to tear down the mental prisons you've built. It's an act of demolition, a violent and necessary upheaval of everything you thought you knew about yourself. You must recognize that the most significant limitations you face are not external. They are not your circumstances, your background, or the opinions of others. They are the self-imposed boundaries of your own thought. So how do you begin this demolition? You start by questioning everything. You challenge the narratives you've been told and the stories you've told yourself. You ask, what if I'm wrong? What if the life I've been living is not a reflection of my capabilities, but a reflection of my beliefs? This isn't about magical thinking or positive affirmations that feel hollow. This is about a brutal, honest assessment of your internal landscape. It's about facing the demons of doubt and the ghosts of past failures and telling them, your reign is over. You must understand that your mind is not a passive recipient of reality. It is an active creator. Your beliefs are not just thoughts. They are commands. They are the code that your subconscious runs on. When you believe you can, you unlock the creative power of your mind to find a way. You become a magnet for opportunity, a problem solver who sees challenges not as roadblocks, but as puzzles to be solved. You start to see the world not as a fixed and unchangeable place, but as a vast, malleable canvas waiting for your touch. This is the power of a burning desire, the kind of desire that consumes you, that wakes you up in the middle of the night, that fuels every fiber of your being. Napoleon Hill called it the first step toward riches. And he was not just talking about money. He was talking about the richness of a life fully lived, a life of purpose and profound accomplishment. It is the kind of desire that drove Henry Ford to create the assembly line, revolutionizing not just car manufacturing, but the entire industrial world. He was told it was impossible, that the logistics were a nightmare, that the cost was prohibitive. But his desire was a furnace, and every objection was simply more fuel. He did not ask for permission. He created the future. This is the belief that must follow. A burning desire is the fuel, but belief is the engine. You can have the most powerful desire in the world, but if you do not truly, deeply, fundamentally believe in your own capacity to achieve it, that desire will burn out. Belief is not a hopeful wish. It is a profound certainty. It is the unshakable conviction that the goal is not only possible, but inevitable. It is the unwavering knowledge that you are a force of nature, a creator, a sculptor of your own destiny. Think of Walt Disney. He was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Can you imagine? A man whose name is synonymous with imagination was once told he didn't have any. Did he let that external judgment define him? Did he accept that his dreams of animated worlds and magical kingdoms were just a pipe dream? No. He believed. He believed so fiercely in his vision that he faced bankruptcy, ridicule, and countless setbacks. He had a vision of a place where families could come and escape into a world of pure imagination, a place that would one day be called Disneyland. He was a man of belief, and that belief transformed a swamp in Anaheim into a kingdom. You must cultivate the same kind of belief. You must become the unwavering believer in your own mission, in your own potential, in your own unique value. This belief is not fragile. It is forged in the crucible of your own commitment. It is the quiet knowing that no matter what storms you face, you will not be broken. You must speak to yourself with the authority of a prophet and the conviction of a king. You must declare your intentions not as a hope, but as a future fact. I will achieve this. I will become this. I will build this. The next crucial piece of this puzzle is clarity. You cannot hit a target you cannot see. A vague desire to be successful or happy is like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly on a vast ocean. You need a destination. You need a map. Your vision must be so vivid, so detailed, and so real that you can almost taste it. You must be able to describe your future life with the precision of a master architect. What does your life without limits look like? What specific goals have you accomplished? Who are you surrounded by? What kind of work are you doing that makes your soul sing? Where are you living? What does your financial reality look like? You need to paint this picture not with broad sweeping strokes, but with the finest brush, detailing every aspect. This clarity is not just an exercise. It is an act of creation. It is the first step in manifesting your future. When you have a clear, precise vision, your subconscious mind begins to work tirelessly in the background, identifying opportunities, connecting dots, and guiding you toward your goal. It's like programming a GPS for your life. You tell it the destination, and it starts recalculating the route with every turn you take, every choice you make. Think of Elon Musk. He didn't just have a vague desire to go to space. He had a crystal clear vision of a multiplanetary civilization. He saw it so vividly, so clearly, that he dedicated his life, his fortune, and his every waking moment to making it a reality. He understood the problem, he saw the solution, and he relentlessly pursued it with an almost religious fervor. That clarity of purpose is what allowed him to navigate the impossible challenges, the public skepticism, and the catastrophic failures that would have crushed a lesser man. So, take the time. Lock yourself away from the noise of the world. Turn off your phone. Take out a pen and paper, not a keyboard, but a pen and paper. There's a power in the physical act of writing, a connection between your mind and your hand that a screen cannot replicate. And start writing your future into existence. Describe your life without limits. Don't hold back. Don't let fear or doubt contaminate the ink. Write as if you are a god, writing the story of your own creation. This exercise is not about wishful thinking. It's about a declaration of intent. It's about taking ownership of your future and refusing to be a passive observer. This clarity, this vivid vision, is the foundation of your purpose. Your purpose is not a job description. It is not a title on a business card. Your purpose is the intersection of your greatest passions, your unique talents, and the needs of the world. It is the reason you were put on this earth. It is the fire in your soul that lights your way. Consider the great artists, the innovators, the leaders who have changed the course of history. Their lives were not defined by their careers. They were defined by their purpose. A painter's purpose is not to paint pictures. It is to reveal the beauty of the human spirit. An entrepreneur's purpose is not to make money. It is to solve a problem and create value. A leader's purpose is not to have power. It is to inspire others to be better than they thought they could be. Your purpose is the why behind everything you do. When your why is big enough, the how becomes a mere detail. It is the fuel that will carry you through the inevitable storms of doubt, failure, and rejection. When you know your purpose, you have a reason to get up in the morning that is bigger than yourself. It's not about what you can get, but about what you can give. It's about leaving a mark on the world that is uniquely yours. Finding your purpose is not a passive process. It requires deep introspection, brutal honesty, and a willingness to explore the uncharted territories of your own soul. You must ask yourself, what are you willing to fight for? What injustice in the world makes your blood boil? What problem do you see that you believe you are uniquely qualified to solve? The answers to these questions are not found in a self-help book. They are found in the quiet moments of reflection, in the hours you spend in solitude, in the deep conversations you have with yourself. Once you have identified your purpose, your vision, your burning desire, and your unwavering belief, you must take action. This is where most people falter. They get lost in the dreaming, the planning, the endless mental exercises, but they never take the first step. They become paralyzed by perfectionism, by the fear of failure, by the weight of their own expectations. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect circumstances. There is no perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. The perfect plan is a myth. The perfect circumstances do not exist. All you have is the present moment and the choice to act. Action is not a grand, dramatic gesture. Action is the sum of small, consistent steps. It is showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It is doing the work when no one is watching. It is making the phone call you're afraid to make, sending the email you've been putting off, writing the page, making the product, learning the skill. It is the daily, relentless march toward your goal. Think of Abraham Lincoln. He did not become one of the greatest presidents in American history in one day. His life was a testament to the power of relentless, consistent action. He faced failure after failure, business failures, political losses, personal tragedies. But he kept going. He kept learning. He kept campaigning. He kept speaking. He kept growing. Each small step, each small action was a brick in the foundation of the man he would become. His greatness was not a single event. It was the cumulative result of a lifetime of action. This is the power of discipline. Discipline is not a punishment. It is the ultimate act of self-love. It is the willingness to do what is necessary, even when it is difficult, because you know it is what you need to do to become the person you are meant to be. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and their accomplishment. It is the engine that transforms your dreams into reality. Don't be fooled by the myth of overnight success. The overnight success you see on the cover of a magazine is the result of a decade of unseen, unglamorous, disciplined work. It is the result of thousands of hours spent in solitude, honing a craft, building a business, or perfecting a skill. And in this journey, in this relentless pursuit, you will face adversity. You will encounter setbacks. You will experience failure. This is not a possibility. It is a certainty. The path to a life without limits is not a straight line. It is a winding road full of potholes and dead ends. This is where resilience becomes your superpower. Resilience is not the absence of struggle. It is the ability to bounce back from it. It is the strength to get up one more time than you fall down. It is the understanding that failure is not the end of the road, but a valuable lesson, a course correction. Think of J.K. Rowling, a single mother on welfare, facing rejection after rejection from publishers for her first book. She could have given up. She could have accepted the world's verdict and moved on, but she didn't. She had a story to tell and a resilience born of her own struggles. She was rejected a dozen times before a small publisher finally took a chance on Harry Potter. Her resilience did not just lead to a successful book. It led to a global phenomenon that changed the lives of millions. Her story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest gifts are born out of the deepest struggles. So when you face a setback, do not despair. Instead, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? How can I use this experience to make me stronger, wiser, and more determined? View every failure not as a defeat, but as a stepping stone. View every setback not as a roadblock, but as a new path to explore. And through all of this, through the struggle and the triumph, you must cultivate a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude is not a passive emotion. It is a powerful force that transforms your perspective. It is the recognition that even in the midst of your challenges, you are blessed. It is the appreciation for the air in your lungs, the roof over your head, the people in your life, and the opportunity to pursue your dreams. Gratitude is a compass that keeps you grounded, a reminder that the journey is as important as the destination. It prevents you from becoming a slave to your ambitions, always chasing the next thing without ever appreciating the present. It helps you see the abundance that already exists in your life, even as you work to create more. This is the cycle of a life without limits: a burning desire, a profound belief, a vivid clarity, a relentless action fueled by discipline, the resilience to overcome adversity, and the gratitude to appreciate it all. This is not a philosophy. It is a proven framework for a life of extraordinary achievement. The choice, as it has always been, is yours. You can continue to live a life of compromise, a life defined by the limitations you have accepted, or you can tear down the walls, ignite the fire, and begin the work of building a life without limits. The world is waiting for you. The future is unwritten. What will you create? What will you achieve? How will you change the world? It all begins with a single thought, a single decision, a single courageous step forward. The time is now. The power is within you. Go, create, conquer, live. The most dangerous lie we tell ourselves is that we are not enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, not rich enough, not connected enough. This lie is a virus, and it spreads from the core of our being, infecting every thought, every action, and every decision we make. It's a lie so insidious that it can cripple a giant and turn a dreamer into a ghost. This is the cage of self-doubt, and it is the strongest prison you will ever build. The cure is not found in an external validation. It's not found in a compliment, a promotion, or a title. The cure is an internal revolution. It is the conscious decision to dismiss the committee of critics you have assembled in your own head and to replace them with a single, unwavering voice of conviction. You must become your own greatest champion, your own most passionate advocate. Think of Martin Luther King Jr. and his "I Have a Dream" speech. Did he stand on that platform and say, "I'm not sure if I'm eloquent enough, or if the time is right, or if the country is ready"? No. He spoke with the authority of a man who believed in the righteousness of his cause and in his own capacity to articulate it. His dream was not a suggestion, it was a demand, a declaration of a future that he knew was inevitable. He did not ask for permission to dream, he commanded the world to listen. This is the power of self-confidence, and it is not a trait you are born with, it is a muscle you build through action. Every small win, every challenge overcome, every fear you face head-on is a repetition that strengthens your confidence. It's the small steps, the early mornings, the late nights, the consistent effort that prove to yourself that you are a person of your word. You told yourself you would do something, and then you did it. That is the fundamental building block of an unshakable belief in yourself. So, stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to give you a sign that you are ready. The sign is the desire itself. The sign is the restlessness in your soul. The sign is the deep knowing that there is more for you. You have been granted the ultimate permission slip, the gift of life. Now it is your responsibility to use it to its fullest potential. This journey, however, is not a solo act. The greatest minds in history understood that no one achieves greatness alone. This is the principle of the mastermind. Napoleon Hill defined it as the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. It's not just a group of people, it's a synergistic force. Consider the partnership of Walt Disney and his brother Roy. Walt had the vision, the boundless imagination, but it was Roy who handled the business, the finances, the practicalities. Without Roy's grounded approach, Walt's dreams might have stayed on paper. Without Walt's vision, Roy would have had nothing to build. Their collaboration was a mastermind in action, two distinct minds, united by a common purpose, creating a force far greater than the sum of their individual talents. This is the power of surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, who inspire you, and who hold you to a higher standard. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Look around you. Are the people in your life lifting you up or dragging you down? Are they pushing you toward your dreams or validating your fears? Your environment is a powerful force, and you have the power to curate it. You must be intentional about the company you keep. Seek out those who are playing a bigger game than you are. Find mentors who have already walked the path you are on and are willing to share their wisdom. Create a circle of peers who are as hungry, as driven, and as committed as you are. This is not about networking in a transactional sense. It's about building a tribe, a family of purpose-driven individuals who are united by a common desire for a life without limits. The next principle is one that is often overlooked in our quest for speed and immediate gratification: persistence. Persistence is the steadfast resolve to continue in the face of difficulty. It is the refusal to accept defeat as a final verdict. It is the iron will that separates the good from the great. Think of Colonel Sanders. He didn't start Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was in his 60s, after a lifetime of failure. He was rejected over 1,000 times before he found a partner who believed in his recipe. 1,000 times. Think about that. He faced 1,000 no's before he got one yes. What if he had stopped at 999? The world would have never known the taste of his secret blend of herbs and spices. His story is a monument to the power of persistence. Persistence is not a burst of energy. It's a marathon. It's a continuous, unwavering effort over a long period of time. It is the ability to keep moving forward, even when you are tired, discouraged, and uncertain. It is the quiet discipline of doing the work day in and day out, even when the results are not yet visible. And in this process of persistent action, you will need to embrace adaptability. The world is not static. The market is not static. Your life is not static. The ability to pivot, to adjust, and to learn from the changing landscape is crucial. A rigid plan is a fragile plan. A flexible plan is a strong plan. Consider the story of Blockbuster and Netflix. Blockbuster was the king of the video rental industry, a behemoth with a seemingly unshakable business model. But they were rigid. They were unwilling to adapt to the new digital age, to embrace the changing way people consumed media. Netflix, on the other hand, was an upstart, a small company with a vision that was constantly adapting and evolving. They started with DVDs by mail, but they didn't stop there. They saw the future of streaming, and they pivoted, even at great cost, to embrace it. Blockbuster's stubborn rigidity led to its demise, while Netflix's adaptability led to its global dominance. You must be a student of your own life, a lifelong learner, constantly absorbing new information, new skills, and new perspectives. You must be willing to let go of old ideas that are no longer serving you, even if they were once successful. This is not about abandoning your principles. It's about refining your strategy. It's about being agile, not brittle. This adaptability is fueled by a profound sense of humility. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. It's the recognition that you don't have all the answers, and that the world is a vast and complex place filled with people who know more than you do. It's the willingness to listen, to learn, and to admit when you are wrong. The greatest leaders in history were often the most humble. Men like Abraham Lincoln, who surrounded himself with a team of rivals, a cabinet of men who were often his political opponents, because he knew their diverse perspectives were crucial to the success of the Union. He was secure enough in his own leadership to welcome dissent and to learn from those who disagreed with him. That humility was a source of strength, not a sign of weakness. And in all of this, in the relentless pursuit of your purpose, you must never lose sight of gratitude. Gratitude is the anchor that keeps you from being swept away by the currents of ambition. It's the quiet voice that reminds you to appreciate the journey, the struggle, and the small victories along the way. Think about the sheer improbability of your own existence. The fact that you are alive with the ability to think, to dream, and to act is a miracle. The fact that you have access to information, to tools, and to opportunities that the great minds of the past could only dream of is a gift. The fact that you have the freedom to pursue your dreams, to build your own life, is a privilege that most of the world does not have. So wake up every morning with a sense of profound gratitude. Be grateful for the challenges that are making you stronger, the failures that are making you wiser, and the people who are making you better. Gratitude is not a destination, it's a practice. It's a daily, conscious choice to see the good in your life, even in the midst of the chaos. This is the final piece of the puzzle, the keystone of a life without limits. It's the understanding that the journey is not just about what you can get, but about who you become. It's about the character you build, the person you forge in the fire of your own ambition. It's about living a life of purpose, of passion, and of profound gratitude. It's about looking back, not with a sense of regret for the things you didn't do, but with a sense of pride for the life you dared to live. The choice, as it has always been, is yours. You can continue to live a life of compromise, a life defined by the limitations you have accepted. Or you can tear down the walls, ignite the fire, and begin the work of building a life without limits. The world is waiting for you. The future is unwritten. What will you create? What will you achieve? How will you change the world? It all begins with a single thought, a single decision, a single courageous step forward. The time is now. The power is within you. Go, create, conquer, live. The choice, as it has always been, is yours. You can continue to live a life of compromise, a life defined by the limitations you have accepted. Or you can tear down the walls, ignite the fire, and begin the work of building a life without limits. The world is waiting for you. The future is unwritten. What will you create? What will you achieve? How will you change the world? It all begins with a single thought, a single decision, a single courageous step forward. The time is now. The power is within you. Go, create, conquer, live. But how? How do you take that first step? We've talked about the internal work, the mindset, the belief, the clarity. But what about the practical, tangible steps? the tools you need to build the life you've imagined. The first and most critical tool is specialized knowledge. We live in an age where general knowledge is a commodity, freely available with a simple search. But true power, true value, lies in specialized knowledge, the deep, specific expertise that solves a particular problem or creates a unique value. A generalist can tell you how a car works, but a specialist can design the engine of a Formula One race car. Think of Steve Jobs. He didn't invent the computer, the MP3 player, or the smartphone. What he had was a specialized knowledge of design, a deep understanding of human-computer interaction, and a relentless focus on simplicity and user experience. He took existing technologies and applied his specialized knowledge to create products that were not just functional, but beautiful and intuitive. He understood that the value wasn't in the hardware, but in the experience. This specialized knowledge is not something you were born with. It is something you acquire. It is the result of focused study, deliberate practice, and a commitment to mastering a specific field. It is the dedication to becoming an expert in something, to knowing more about a particular subject than almost anyone else. In a world of noise, specialized knowledge is a signal. It's the reason people will seek you out. It's the reason you will be paid not for your time, but for your expertise. So you must become a student again. You must identify the skills, the knowledge, the expertise that your grand vision requires, and then you must relentlessly pursue it. This might mean going back to school, or it might mean dedicating an hour a day to a specific subject. It might mean finding a mentor who can teach you what you need to know. The key is that it must be deliberate, and it must be focused. General knowledge is a nice to have. Specialized knowledge is a must-have. With this knowledge in hand, you must move to the next step, organized planning. A dream without a plan is just a wish. A vision without a strategy is just a fantasy. You must take your vivid, detailed vision and break it down into a concrete, actionable plan. This is where the magic of the mind meets the logic of reality. Your plan must be a roadmap, not a destination. It must be flexible, but it must have a clear direction. It should detail not just the major milestones, but the small daily actions that will lead you to them. What will you do today, this week, this month, to move one step closer to your goal? Think of a CEO running a multi-billion-dollar company. They don't just wake up and say, let's be successful today. They have a business plan, a strategic roadmap that outlines their goals, their resources, their challenges, and their next steps. This plan is not static. It is constantly being reviewed, refined, and updated. This is the same discipline you must apply to your own life. You are the CEO of your own destiny, and your life is your company. You need a business plan. This planning requires you to be brutally honest with yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What resources do you have? What resources do you need? What obstacles are in your way? This is not an exercise in pessimism. It is an exercise in pragmatism. It is about confronting reality so that you can create a plan to transcend it. And this organized plan must be centered around one single driving force, your definite major purpose. This is the one thing that matters above all else. This is the single objective that all of your specialized knowledge and organized planning are designed to achieve. It is your North Star. Your definite major purpose is not a list of goals. It's the central theme of your life's work. It's the problem you are uniquely qualified to solve. It's the legacy you want to leave. For Carnegie, it was to master the steel industry. For Edison, it was to bring electricity to the masses. For Disney, it was to create a world of wonder. This definite major purpose must be so clear, so compelling, and so important that it serves as a filter for every decision you make. Does this decision move me closer to my definite major purpose, or does it move me away? If it moves you away, you must have the discipline to say no. If it moves you closer, you must have the courage to say yes. This clarity of purpose is what allows you to say no to good opportunities so that you can say yes to great ones. In a world of infinite choices and distractions, the ability to focus on the one thing that truly matters is the ultimate competitive advantage. It is the single principle that will allow you to go from a life of scattered effort to a life of focused power. Consider the story of a small unknown company in the early days of the internet. They could have focused on 1,000 different things. They could have tried to build a portal, a search engine, an e-commerce site, a social network. But their founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, had a definite major purpose: to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. That single purpose became the foundation of Google, a company that would change the world. They were not distracted by the shiny new trends of the day. They were guided by their purpose. This is the power you must harness. You must define your definite major purpose, and you must make it the center of your universe. Write it down. Put it on a note card. Put it on your mirror. Look at it every single day. Let it be the first thing you think about in the morning and the last thing you think about at night. Let it become a part of your DNA. This is not a suggestion. This is a command. Your life without limits begins not with a whisper, but with a definite, powerful statement of intent. What is your definite major purpose? What is the one thing that you will not rest until you have achieved? The answer to that question is the key that unlocks the door to your future. It's time to find it. It's time to claim it. It's time to live it. It all comes down to this. We've talked about tearing down the mental prisons, about the burning desire that fuels you, the unwavering belief that sustains you, and the crystal clear clarity that guides you. We've discussed the master mind that amplifies your efforts, the persistence that ensures your victory, and the adaptability that keeps you moving forward. We've laid the groundwork for a life without limits. But all of these principles are meaningless without a final, fundamental act of faith, faith in yourself. The moment you choose to live a life without limits is the moment you choose to accept the burden of greatness. It is a lonely path, filled with ridicule from those who are content with their cages, with setbacks that will test the very fiber of your being, and with moments of doubt that will whisper for you to give up. But you cannot. You cannot, because the world is waiting for your contribution. The world is waiting for the art only you can create, the problem only you can solve, the leadership only you can provide. Your life is not a dress rehearsal. This is the main event. So, let me ask you one last time. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for a sign? This is your sign. Are you waiting for permission? This is your permission. The universe is not a passive observer. It is an active participant in your reality. It is waiting for you to declare your intentions, to show it what you are made of, to prove that you are worthy of the dreams you hold. Today, right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can go back to the comfortable, predictable life you've always known, or you can step into the unknown and begin the work of creating the life you were always meant to live. The path is not easy, but the reward is not just success. The reward is a life fully lived. The reward is the profound satisfaction of knowing that you gave everything you had, that you left nothing on the table, that you became the architect of your own destiny. Look into the mirror one last time. Do you see a spectator or do you see a warrior? The choice is yours. The time is now. Go. Live a life without limits.